live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India celebrates Shubhanshu Shukla's safe return from International Space Station along with 3 other astronauts as part of the Axiom 4 mission. Prime Minister Modi lauds Shukla's courage for inspiring a billion dreams. EU foreign ministers meet in Brussels to discuss Ukraine. An agreement on new sanctions against Russia on the cards, says EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas. And India's landmark achievement in energy transition, 50% non-fossil fuel capacity attained 5 years ahead of the 2030 target. In a historic moment, the Axiom 4 mission carrying Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla and 3 other astronauts from the United States, Poland and Hungary splashed down around 3:01 p.m. Indian Standard Time on Tuesday. The 4-membered crew returned home after spending 18 days at the International Space Station. A SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule carrying the 4-member team parachuted into the sea off the coast of California at around 9:30 hours GMT, following a fiery re-entry through Earth's atmosphere that capped a 22-hour descent from orbit. For India, Poland and Hungary, the launch marked the first human spaceflight of each country in more than 40 years and the first mission ever to send astronauts from their government's respective space programs to the ISS. Mission pilot Shubhanshu Shukla, Commander Peggy Whitson and 2 mission specialists undocked from the ISS on Monday at 16:45 hours Indian Standard Time. So the participation of Shubhanshu Shukla is being seen as a precursor for India's mission Gaganyaan. Family and friends celebrated on Shubhanshu Shukla's safe return to Earth. Shubhanshu Shukla's family expressed happiness and said that the whole nation is proud of their son. Shubhanshu Shukla's family expressing joy and relief as their son Shubhanshu Shukla safely returned to Earth onto the Dragon spacecraft as part of the historic Axiom 4 mission.
बहुत खुशी है हम तो गार्जियन हैं बहुत और पूरे देश को खुशी है आप सब लोगों को खुशी है कि बच्चा हमारा वापस सकुशल वापस आ गया ये हमारे लिए और देश के लिए सबके लिए गौरव देश के लिए बड़ा गर्व की बहुत गर्व की बात है हमारे लिए खुद गर्व की बात है हम हमारे लिए सबके लिए देश के गर्व मतलब जो है देश का परिवार के लिए
सब अच्छे से हो गया सब ईश्वर साथ में है ईश्वर नहीं उसको वहाँ पहुँचाया था उसी की दुआओं से उसी के सब पहुंचाया था उसी ने सब सुरक्षित लैंड कराया सब कुछ वही है क्या कहेंगे आखिरी अब कुछ नहीं आगे आने वाली पीढ़ी को सबक लेना चाहिए सीखना चाहिए जिसको आगे बढ़ना है वो आगे बढ़े अपना इसी तरह से लग रहा है
अभी हाँ बिल्कुल धरती पे आ गए हैं बहुत प्राउड मोमेंट है हमारे देश के लिए भी और पूरे नेशन मेरे लिए एंड पूरे नेशन के लिए ऑफ कोर्स
Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla on his return to Earth from his landmark mission aboard ISS. In a post on X, the Prime Minister wrote, and I quote, I join the nation in welcoming Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla as he returns to Earth from his historic mission to space. As India's first astronaut to have visited International Space Station, he has inspired a billion dreams through his dedication, courage and pioneering spirit. It marks another milestone towards our own human spaceflight mission, Mission Gaganyaan. India's Science and Technology Minister Jitendra Singh expressed happiness over the safe return of Axiom 4, calling it a moment of glory for India. Minister noted that one of The illustrious sons of Mother India returned from a successful voyage, having conducted for the posterity life-bearing experiments in microgravity never done before.
It's a moment of pride for the whole world and a moment of glory for India as one of her illustrious sons returns back after accomplishing a successful voyage and after having conducted some of the very vital life-bearing experiments never done before. And therefore, as I said, today indeed Bharat has found an enduring space in the world of space.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on Chinese President Xi Jinping this morning in Beijing, along with his fellow SCO foreign ministers. Jaishankar conveyed the greetings of President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He also apprised President Xi of the recent development of India-China bilateral ties. The minister said that the values of guidance of leaders of both the sides will help both countries. The meeting with Chinese President Xi comes a day after Jaishankar held talks with Chinese Vice President Han Cheng and Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Beijing. India's External Affairs Minister will attend the meeting of the foreign ministers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in China's Tianjin. During the meeting, the leaders will exchange views on SCO cooperation in various international and regional issues. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov of Russia in Tianjin ahead of the foreign ministers' meet. The leaders reviewed bilateral cooperation and global developments. Dr. S. Jaishankar also met Iranian Foreign Minister Syed Abbas Araghchi on the sidelines of the SCO foreign ministers' meet in Tianjin. Now, External Affairs Minister has attended the meeting of the foreign ministers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization on Tuesday. Dr. Jaishankar held talks with his Russian and Iranian counterparts, as we told you, on the sidelines of the SCO meeting. This is Jaishankar's first trip to China since the standoff in 2020 on the escalation on the line of actual control. Here we see the group family photo of the foreign ministers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. China has expressed strong disapproval on Tuesday regarding the United States' pressure tactics following President Donald Trump's warning of very severe tariffs against Russia's remaining trade partners if the Ukraine conflict remains unresolved within 50 days. Meanwhile, Chinese spokesperson Lin Jian said that there are no winners in trade wars and coercion and pressure will not solve the problem either.
I would like to reiterate that China has always believed that dialogue and negotiations are the only viable way to resolve the Ukrainian crisis. There are no winners in trade wars, and coercion and pressure will not solve the problem either. We hope all parties will work to foster an environment and build the conditions necessary for a political settlement of the Ukrainian crisis and do more to encourage peace and promote talks.
On to Brussels now. Foreign ministers of the European Union met in Brussels on Tuesday to discuss the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiha joined the Foreign Affairs Council via video conference. EU countries are close to reaching an agreement on a new package of sanctions against Russia, the bloc's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas said on Tuesday. The European Commission last month proposed the 18th package of sanctions against Russia for its invasion of Ukraine, aimed at Moscow's energy revenue, its banks and its military industry. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump on Monday announced a toughened stance against Russia for its Ukraine conflict. Trump coupled his arms announcement with a vow to impose tariffs and sanctions on Russia if Moscow will not make a ceasefire agreement within 50 days. The president threatened to hit buyers of Russian exports with sanctions unless Russia agrees a peace deal in 50 days. It is a major shift in policy brought on by disappointment with Moscow. Trump has been reluctant to punish Russia, but he came away from a recent phone call with Vladimir Putin disappointed that the Russian leader appeared prepared for the conflict to continue.
I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%. And that's the way it is. It can be more simple. It's just the way it is. I hope we don't have to do it.
The Kremlin said on Tuesday that the US president's recent statements, including the threat of sanctions on buyers of Russian exports, are serious and require analysis. In a major policy shift brought on by disappointment with Moscow, Trump coupled his arms announcement with the vow to impose tariffs and sanctions on Russia if Moscow does not make a ceasefire agreement within 50 days. The US president also threatened to hit buyers of Russian exports with sanctions. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov reiterated that Russia was ready to continue direct negotiations with Ukraine and was still waiting for a signal from Kiev on when the next talks could be held.
The statements by the US president are quite serious. Some elements appear to be personally addressed to President Putin. We certainly require time to analyze what was said in Washington.
Now, Ukraine's Statehood Day was observed in Kiev. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Tuesday marked the Statehood Day in Kiev, reaffirming the nation's resilience. Addressing the ceremony, attended by US Special Envoy Keith Kellogg and other foreign guests, Zelensky said Ukrainians have bravely endured intense Russian attacks and will always remain independent people.
The question is, which of our neighbors in Europe will be forced to go through what our people are going through in Ukraine? In Sumy, in Kharkiv, in Donetsk, in Zaporizhia, in our Kherson region, in our Crimea. Ukraine must defend itself and will do so. Ukraine must preserve and strengthen its statehood, and it will do so. Ukrainians have withstood harsh Russian attacks and will always be an independent people.
You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. Prime Minister Modi condoles the demise of the world's oldest marathon runner, Fauja Singh, who passed away at the age of 114. Tesla finally enters Indian market with the launch of its Model Y, priced at $69,770 at its inaugural showroom in Mumbai. And Britain's annual swan count begins along the River Thames.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. India has once again risen to its commitment to non-fossil sources of energy. The good news is that India now accounts to half the power grid from the renewable sources. India has achieved a new landmark in its energy transition journey, reaching 50% of its installed electricity capacity from non-fossil fuel sources. Notably, this achievement comes 5 years ahead of the 2030 target set under the Paris Agreement. On the global stage, India continues to lead in climate action, promoting equity and sustainable lifestyles. This breakthrough, driven by initiatives like PM Kusum and rooftop solar energy, highlights India's commitment to climate leadership and inclusive energy growth. Minister of New and Renewable Energy, Dr. Prasar Joshi, hailed it as a proud moment, crediting Prime Minister Modi's leadership for the nation's green transformation. India now stands as a global torchbearer of clean, inclusive and sustainable development. Prahlad Joshi, Minister of New and Renewable Energy, delivered a keynote address at the IVCA Renewable Energy Summit 2025. He emphasized that India's energy demand is expected to double by 2035, reaching around 816 gigawatt. Speaking at the event in Mumbai, the minister said that if nearly 50% of this growing demand is to be met through renewable sources of energy, it would require significant funding, opening up of large investment opportunities in the sector.
India's energy need is going to be doubled by 2035. तो बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में हमारा जो 2030 तक आज जैसे मैंने पहले बताया हमारा इंस्टॉल कैपेसिटी बोथ टू पुट टुगेदर इट इज about 483-84 gigawatt. So, but requirement will be, you can't imagine, by 2030, the requirement will be almost 817 gigawatt. This is what is the expectation. When we want to generate 817 gigawatt of energy, out of that, even if you consider as a 50% from the renewable energy, so you see the requirement of fund for that.
15 July is observed as World Youth Skills Day. Empowering youth with future-ready skills, India's skill mission is shaping a workforce for global demand, driving development, bridging the digital divide and embracing artificial intelligence-led innovation. A report.
Youth who possess the ability to change the winds with their talent are the backbone of nations building. Recognizing their capabilities, guiding them in the right direction, and involving them in nation building is the biggest challenge for leadership, a responsibility that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken upon himself. To shape the younger generation according to the future needs of industry and services, he launched the Skill India mission on July 15, 2015. The aim was to train a large number of youth and make them skilled.
आने वाले कई दशकों तक भारत दुनिया का सबसे यंग और स्किल्ड पॉपुलेशन वाला देश बना रहेगा। ये भारत ही है जहां से दुनिया की एक बड़ी स्किल डिमांड पूरी होगी। आपने देखा होगा दुनिया के अनेक देश अब भारत के स्किल यूथ का दोनों हाथों से स्वागत कर रहे हैं। ऐसे में भारत सरकार का भी प्रयास है कि कोई भी भारतीय विदेश जाए तो वो बेहतरीन स्किल के साथ ही जाए। इसलिए हम अपने यूथ की लगातार स्किलिंग, रीस्किलिंग और अपस्किलिंग कर रहे हैं।
The theme of this year's World Youth Skill Day focuses on empowering youth through AI and digital skills. The aim is to reduce the digital divide and promote inclusive education so that the youth are equipped to participate in an AI-driven economy. India is well aware of the importance of AI. As a result, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the central government has trained over 4 lakh youth in advanced fields such as AI, robotics, and data under the Skill India mission. Clearly, skill development is the nation's conscious preparation for the future, and its success will ensure that the goal of a developed India is achieved. Bureau Report, DD India.
President of India Draupadi Murmu on Tuesday graced the convocation ceremony of Ravenshaw University at Cuttack. The President of India said that the spirit of the nation first is our biggest strength. She urged students to take inspiration from this spirit and contribute to the country's development with their knowledge, skills and devotion. Tesla officially enters the Indian market today with the launch of its first showroom at Maker Max City Mall in Mumbai's Bandra Kurla complex. The EV pioneer teased its arrival last Friday in its India-focused X account. Tesla will sell imported vehicles, including the Model Y, priced at around $69,770. This excludes local manufacturing for now. Encouraged by India's new EV policy, offering reduced import duties and incentives, Tesla aims to test the waters in the world's third-largest car market. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy confirmed Tesla's current focus is on retail only, with minimal EV penetration and charging concerns still prevalent. Tesla is set to challenge German luxury brands like the BMW and Mercedes-Benz in the premium electric car segment. And next we take a look at what else is making news around the world. Nissan Motor will stop producing vehicles at its Oppama plant in Japan by March 2028 and will transfer operations to its factory in Fukuoka. Nissan CEO Ivan Espinosa announced sweeping plans aimed at turning around the embattled automaker, including slashing global production capacity to 2.5 million vehicles from 3.5 million and manufacturing sites to 10 from 17. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te inspected military drills in New Taipei city as part of the annual Han Kuang exercises. The army simulated a defense against an invasion by Chinese troops entering the city, responding with tactical resistance, regrouping and retreating with armored vehicles and Tau-2B anti-tank missiles. In the western U.S. state of Utah, a large fire vortex formed over the Deer Creek wildfire outside of La Salle. In a social media post, firefighters said that no one was injured in the vortex, which burned through pinyon juniper woodland. Officials added that there were 8 large wildfires burning in Utah across 60,000 acres. Indonesian rescuers found alive all 11 people missing at sea who had survived a boat capsize incident despite bad weather by swimming for at least 6 hours to the nearest island. Boats and ferries are a regular mode of transport in Indonesia, an archipelago of more than 17,000 islands where accidents are caused by bad weather and lacks safety standards that often allow vessels to be overloaded. The Black Sea faces tons of pollution every year, threatening marine life. In response, a major cleanup operation has been launched in the coastal city of Sinop. Volunteer divers removed large amounts of plastic waste from the sea at Limban. The initiative is part of the EU Solidarity Corps project, focused on high-priority regions and includes divers from 9 different countries. India's marathon runner Fauja Singh, who earned the tag of the world's oldest marathon man, died at the age of 114 in a road accident on Monday. Age was never a barrier for Fauja Singh. At 89 years of age, he took to running seriously. Fauja Singh ran his first race, the London Marathon, in 2000. He was well known in his village for running from one place to another. Fauja Singh completed in 9 42-kilometer marathons in London, Toronto and New York. His best time was in Toronto, where he clocked 5 hours, 40 minutes and 4 seconds. He was a torchbearer for the 2004 Athens Games and 2012 London Olympics and appeared in an advertisement for a major sports brand several years ago, alongside the likes of David Beckham and Muhammad Ali. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to legendary marathoner Fauja Singh, who died at the age of 114 in a road accident in Punjab's Jalandhar district. In a post on X, Prime Minister Modi described Fauja Singh as an inspiration to generations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrote, and I quote him, "Fauja Singh ji was extraordinary because of his unique persona and the manner in which he inspired the youth of India on a very important topic of fitness. He was an exceptional athlete with incredible determination. Pained by his passing away, my thoughts are with his family and countless admirers around the world." And on to sports news now. R. Vaishali and Harika Dronavalle joined compatriots Koneru Hampi and Divya Deshmukh in the pre-quarterfinals of the FIDE Women's Chess World Cup in Georgia. Vaishali had to dig deep to beat USA's Carissa Yip. After both of their classical games ended in a draw, the 15+10 rapid tie-break match also finished with the same result. Vaishali won both the 10+10 rapid games to book her spot in the pre-quarterfinals, where she will face M. Kamalidanova of Kazakhstan. Meanwhile, Harika defeated Greek player S. Solakidou in the same manner as Vaishali. Harika will face Lagno in the next round. Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu and Lakshya Sen will be in action in the Japan Open 2025 badminton tournament, which will start from Tuesday, July 15th. Sindhu, Lakshya and men's doubles pair of Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy were last seen at the Indonesia Open in early June. All three skipped the subsequent US Open and Canada Open. In the women's doubles category, Rituparna Panda and Swetaparna Panda will represent the Indian contingent. And now let's take you to River Thames, where the annual census of swans belonging to King Charles III has begun. The 800-year-old tradition lasts 5 days, covering the stretch of the Thames River between Sunbury near London out to Bington near Oxford, travelling a total of 79 miles. So that's it for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates from India and the world on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.